Dearly welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Julian, the co-creator of Enlightened Money, and today I want to present to you different kinds of investments. Where can you put your resources? Where can you put your funds? Where can you put your money? And I want to start by explaining that money on its own is just neutral. It's not good, it's not bad, it simply is. And you can give it any meaning that you'd like. And if you choose to give it a positive, joyful, easygoing meaning, then it's gonna produce this for you, at least eventually and essentially. So, investments can be explained in different ways, but let's, for the purpose of this simple discussion, so all of you can really understand easily what I'm talking about, let's put it in the 5 main asset classes. So, of course, stocks are the first one, and ETFs. So here I'm simply talking about the companies, the publicly traded companies, and the baskets of stocks. These are then ETFs, where multiple stocks are put into one investment. So you're not investing just in one company, but you are investing in hundreds of companies. For instance, with one investing, and this basket of stocks is created for you by certain very strong financial companies. This is usually called ETF. There are also some other variations, but the most known expression is ETF. Exchange traded fund. And this is the main asset class that most people know, they're aware of it. Depending on where in the world you live, it's also very different how much this asset class, stocks and ETFs, are actually used and popular. For instance, in Europe, where I'm from, not so much. In United States, it is used a lot. It's kind of part of the culture. Then Asia and Asia Pacific, again, has different relationship with this asset class. But I simply wanted to mention that it depends where you were born, how this asset class is perceived, and also how much is it used among people in everyday reality. I'm not going to go into the details now, but I simply wanted to mention it. So with stocks and ETFs, you can invest in many companies around the world. And some companies also pay dividends. These are parts of their profits. They can pay it quarterly, monthly, yearly, and so on. Some of them are more focused on growth. Some of them balance of both growth and dividend. So there are different kinds, but I don't want to complicate it here in any way, because it's the introduction into asset classes. So basically you are investing in the companies. For instance, if you like Coca-Cola and their products, or if you like Apple and iPhone, or if you like Microsoft with their Windows and computers, etc., then you are investing in these projects, in these products, and so on. So let's simplify it. And if these products and these companies are going to do well in the world, then very likely also your investments are going to do very well in a certain amount of time, because I'm essentially describing investing here from a long-term perspective, not from day trading or 1 month or something like this, but from a longer perspective, like 10, 15, 20 years, something like this, because in that time also the markets and everything, they rebalance themselves and essentially they go where they are meant to go. Because in the short term, a lot of fluctuations can happen because of different events in the world and so on, politics, some other natural disasters, unexpected events. They can push markets up or down. However, this is just part of it. In the long term, the investments usually go in the way where they are meant to go based on the value of certain investment. So Very simple, very understandable. Companies with their services, products, and so on that are publicly traded, like in Europe you have BMW or Siemens and many others, Ferrari for instance. Ferrari is a publicly traded company, a very luxurious and desired car by many. So a lot of options. I simply wanted to give examples here so all of you can understand. And then we can move on to the next, really major one. The second major asset class is, of course, real estate. Real estate is known to each and every person in the world, and it's also very simple to explain. You can buy apartments, houses, some industrial buildings, offices, also now in modern times, data centers, etc. It's investing in real estate, period. And in most cases, real estate almost all around the world goes up in price in 10, 20 years. And the simple explanation would be, if you have a house or apartment, if you bought it like 10, 20 years ago, you are probably aware that it's now worth much more than it was at that time. So the prices of real estate naturally go up. Not always, but generally and in the long term. And also, of course, there's another part, like big part of real estate investing is then receiving rent if you're renting your apartment or house or office or villa or whatever you own. So this is another part of earning with real estate. You got also different options of investing in real estate, like what we were describing now is mostly physical real estate, owning physical real estate, and then potentially also renting it or simply gaining more value after some time. You can also invest in the real estate through the stock market with securities that are called REITs, so real estate investment trusts, where companies are buying, renting, renovating, etc. They are dealing with real estate, and if these companies are successful and you are invested in them through the stock market, you also can gain nice profits because they are successful, then you are also. And in this case, you don't need like big amounts to start investing in real estate because you can start investing in such companies also with lower amounts. And the third option is very modern now, where you can invest in real estate in different parts of the world through certain specialized companies. This is different from the second option called REITs. These are other kinds of creations and projects and offerings where some companies are offering you the opportunity to buy apartments, houses, villas, etc. together with other investors, and then you are a co-owner of certain real estate in certain parts of the world. There are such very quality companies, and I also wanted to mention this option as part of real estate investing. Of course, there could be a few more, but I'm putting these as three main ones for now. Then we can move on to the third asset class that is very well known, and that is gold. We can expand it into precious metals actually, so gold and silver. And gold is very much desired in many parts of the world. It has been the store of value for many years. It's also a beautiful balance against inflation, so to speak, if I put it a bit poetically. And it has actually also produced really great returns in the last 20 years. So you can buy physical gold with your local dealers, for instance, or physical silver. You can invest in gold also through stock market, through ETFs. And then your gold is stored in some bank vaults, and some strong financial companies are taking care of all this for you, and you are paying usually a pretty small fee per each year so you can have this investment. and you then don't have to store and take care of the physical gold on your own, but it's being done for you. And then you got also some modern variations where you can invest in gold through blockchain technology and through some other modern versions. And I'm also not going to go into the details now, but I'm just letting you know so you can be aware that there are some really quality other kind of options that are actually in many cases also very affordable, and they offer a really easy and convenient way to invest in gold and silver. So this was the third asset class, the third main asset class, and now we can move to the fourth. This is cryptocurrency. Yes, some time ago, a lot of people wouldn't consider cryptocurrencies as separate asset class. Maybe some still don't in the year 2025 when I'm recording this, but I am definitely considering cryptocurrencies as separate asset class, and for that matter, they are actually a really grand and awesome asset class with so many incredible new technologies, new projects, incredible innovation that is transforming the whole world, not just financial sector, but also many other sectors. So most of you are familiar with Bitcoin, but there are also other really, really strong and established and also cutting-edge projects that are then being represented with the cryptocurrencies. And I also studied this asset class a lot. It's got incredible potential also for the future. It's also being now integrated into different systems that were already previously established in the world, and it's expanding. There are also different ways to invest in cryptocurrencies, just like with other asset classes. One of them is investing in cryptocurrencies directly. Another one is investing again in cryptocurrencies through the stock market, through the ETFs, for instance, where cryptocurrencies are being then stored for you by other companies. You got also the self-storage option when you buy them cryptocurrencies on centralized or decentralized exchanges, and then you transfer them into your own wallet, cold wallet or hot wallet, but usually cold wallet is the more, let's say, secure option that most people are choosing then. And then you have the complete self-storage, and you are the only person who has the keys and passwords to access them ever. So that is another option, and cryptocurrencies have returned significant gains, significant profits to many investors in the last 10 years. Some people use them also as gambling, and they were absolutely many times then not successful as much as profits are concerned. However, with smart, wise, conscious, enlightened investing also in cryptocurrencies and, let's say, a very balanced and good allocation, I personally believe that cryptocurrencies can be a wonderful addition to the investment portfolio. So that is the fourth asset class, and it's becoming bigger and bigger by the day. And then we got the fifth, and these are bonds. I personally am not invested a lot in bonds because personally I'm not a very big fan of credit, and all the bond market is based on credit and loans. So it is as it is. It's still a really, really huge market, bond market out there. And with bonds, you essentially borrow the money to the country or you borrow the money to the company, and then you got official contract, so to speak, that tells you how much interest this company or country is going to return to you in how many years. Of course, together with the base amount that you put in as your investment. So that's essentially it. It's not so complicated. Of course, we could go into the details and different kind of explanations and all of this, but in my opinion, it's simply not necessary, at least not now in this moment here. And the bond market is being considered as probably still the safest kind of investment, probably in most parts of the world. And it's also given you a pretty low returns. We gotta say it as it is. It's usually few percent per year, and most investors are not very happy with it. However, for the higher amounts, for the big amounts, where the essential point is to create returns, and you are absolutely certain that your investment is not going to lose value, then the bonds can be a great option. Or for the people who really are looking for security and stability of their investments. So sure, bonds are also there, and we could also put something like savings accounts with positive interests in the bank, or with also some modern financial options, like some exchanges are offering great returns in some countries. We also have some other companies who are offering nice yearly returns for putting dollars or euros or any other currencies that are being accepted. You are putting such money in certain companies, they use it, and then you are getting very nice returns. I also explored this market very much, and I found out some really great options. So this is it, essentially. These 5 are main asset classes. I'm going to explore some alternative ones also in other sharings, in other audios, videos. But for now, I wanted to present to you the 5 main ones. So we had, let me do the recap. We had stocks and ETFs, essentially investing in companies. Then we have real estate, investing in houses, apartments, etc. Then we have precious metals, so gold and silver and so on. Then we have cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and some other major ones, and also a lot of new upcoming grant projects. And then, of course, we mentioned bonds. And that is essentially it. Pretty simple. Investing is not so complicated as so many people are saying it is, or the way it is being perceived and also taught, etc., etc. If you see these asset classes as possibilities where you can put your money, then you can feel what is really something that's calling you, where you feel at peace, where you're also seeing desirable returns from the past results. However, let's be clear, the past results are not a guarantee for the future results, but they can be a nice compass, they can be a great guideline to see if certain investments also have nice potential for the future. And we could go into more details here, but I'm just saying it in a more relaxed, easygoing way so it can be understood. However, let me also remind you, I am not a financial advisor, so nothing that I shared here today is official financial or investment advice. It is not. It is simply my own perspective, my own opinion, my own view. And everything that is shared here today is simply shared for educational and informational purposes. With all that being said, thank you very much for listening to this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to present it in a really simple and easy to understand way. And in case you'd like to know even more or to understand even more, or you need some help with all of this, you are very welcome to contact Enlightened Money Company, and we would be glad and happy to serve you. Thank you very much.